Hey friends, it's me, Carrie. Sorry this is going to be another wonkily lit video, but again, I haven't mastered the art of shooting at night yet, so I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. I was just speaking with a friend online about her struggle with depression and anxiety, which, as you guys know, is something that I've battled all my life as well. She's really going through a difficult time right now, and I tried to offer the best advice I knew how, as I always do when people reach out to me in that regard, or in any other regard. You know, I always try to help people as much as I possibly can. But sometimes I feel really powerless, that I can't do more. And a lot of the stuff that she was saying is stuff that super resonates with me. She said she's never been able to have a job, and I haven't had a job in over 10 years now. I've had one full-time job in my life. From 2000 to 2002, I was able to work as a paralegal. Obviously, my mental illness was not at the state that it is right now, and I was higher functioning, so to speak. I graduated from college in '95. I kind of floundered doing retail part-time work from '95 to 2000, and then my mother just suggested, she kept seeing all these ads on TV for those correspondence type schools, and she's like, why don't you try being a paralegal? Like, you've always had an interest in law. And I did. As a kid, I actually thought maybe I would be an attorney one day, but there was no way I would ever have had the confidence to stand up for a client in court and do all the stuff that's required of an attorney. I always felt like I was intelligent enough, but I just didn't have the emotional wherewithal to do that type of work. I often feel the same way about psychology. I think, were my circumstances different in terms of my mental illness, I probably would have made a really good psychologist. And I still toy with the idea, if I ever reach a place in my recovery where I would be able to handle a part-time, or a full-time job, I should say. That would definitely be a full-time job. And of course, you know, the financial and emotional responsibility of going back to school and furthering my education. But anyway, so in 2000, I said, sure, what the heck. It was like a, I don't know, 2 or 3 month course, and I did that, and I got a job pretty quickly as an elder law firm paralegal, which basically meant doing a lot of Medicaid applications for seniors, applying for Social Security disability for people, which is ironic now, considering that I really think I should be entitled to that, and I'm not getting it, and the government has not yet seen in their wisdom that I should be entitled to that, because I don't have stacks of paperwork to document my illness. Ironically, because for many years I couldn't afford to get it treated. That's the catch-22 of being mentally ill in the United States, and perhaps other countries in the world, although I know there are a lot of countries that handle this situation a lot better than we do. But it's like the catch-22. You can't get Social Security disability unless you've got those stacks of documents proving that you are unable to work and that you are literally, mentally, and physically incapable of holding down a job. And if you don't have that proof, they don't care about your case. Or you can hire an attorney, which if you don't have a job, you don't have money for an attorney. It's just this whole vicious cycle. So long story short, I don't get any government benefits whatsoever. I'm not sitting here on my high horse collecting checks because, you know, I'm so special or whatever. Like, when I tell you guys I don't work, it's not something I say with pride or with dignity or with anything but total guilt and remorse and shame. But I can't do it. I tried it. The last time I tried it was in 2010. I managed 4 days as a checker at a grocery store when I lived in Florida with my husband, and literally each and every one of those days, 3 of which were training, mind you, I woke up and began crying hysterically, having nervous breakdown feelings. I don't know if they were panic attacks or what, screaming at my husband, please, please, please don't make me go. I would rather run out in the 4 lanes of traffic that were across the street from my job. I would rather run out in traffic than go, please, please, please don't make me. And of course, you know, I had to go because, you know, I had to. And after the first day of real work, I was like, nope, can't do this, can't handle it, not happening. And I haven't had a job since, other than YouTube, which didn't start out as a job, and it's never actually going to be a job. Let's get real. I'm never going to make a substantial amount of money on this channel, if I even manage to stay monetized, which of course is still a question mark because I'm not to the 1,000 subscribers yet, and I only have until February 20th to get there. I'm getting close. As of last time I checked, I was at 940, so I'm getting close. And I really, really, really want to make it pretty much more than I've wanted anything in my whole life. So you guys supporting me, clicking that subscribe button, suggesting my channel to your friends makes all the difference in the world. You have no idea. I'm actually kind of squeezing my peach squishy off camera right now because my anxiety is off the charts and it's helping calm my nerves. And it's a slow riser too. I think that's considered a slow rise. That rise is pretty slow. But anyway, so I'm squeezing my squishy and I'm, you know, bearing my soul to you right now because just this talk with my friend really sparked a lot of feelings in me. My friend happens to be the mother of a young child. I am not a mother. I cannot have children. It's just a biological fact. Something to do with my lack of progesterone or some such crap. I don't even know. When I went to get blood work done after not being able to get pregnant and trying for several years around age, I want to say 38, 39, and I got a phone call from the gynecologist saying, well, we're really sorry, Mrs. Murphy, but you're not going to be able to carry a child, and blah, 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 progesterone, blah, 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 fertility specialist, blah, blah, blah. It was like Charlie Brown teacher, because at this point in time, there was no way in hell we were going to be able to afford fertility specialists. And I just kind of felt like, okay, this is a cosmic sign from, you know, from the source, from the creator, from, you know, the power greater than myself, you know, God, whatever you want to call it, that I'm not meant to be a mother. And, you know, I know you guys will say, oh, well, there's other options. You know, you can adopt, you can foster, but with no money, that's not really a very intelligent thing to do. You know, if you and your husband are struggling to get by, you certainly don't want to add a child to the mix and put them in a life of, you know, of poverty if you have any choice in the matter. So it just became abundantly clear that children were not in my future. And the other day I was really, really, really sad about that. And then just hearing my friend just now, you know, talking about her concerns for her daughter, that she may suffer the same way that she herself does, you know, that it's just so difficult being a parent and that she just doesn't even know how she gets through the day sometimes. And I thought to myself, I feel you, sister. That is my life. But with the huge difference that I don't have, you know, another little human being that I'm responsible for. And I think that in a way, I'm going to use the word God because I do believe in God. I don't know if I believe in all of the Bible stuff or, you know, specifics. I believe that there is a higher power, certainly. I don't think that it ends with us. I don't know what that being is. I don't want to even speculate on it, but I do believe there's more than us out there. There's something bigger than us. So I will use the term God. You can substitute whichever term you choose. And if you believe that there is no higher power, you are certainly entitled to that belief as well. I don't judge anyone for that, for faith or lack of faith or whatever you may believe in that regard. But I do feel like God made me infertile for a reason, and I guess in a way I'm thankful for that because the decision was kind of taken out of my hands. And I don't know, I had a talk with my friend Jane the other day, and in the midst of the conversation about this whole coming to terms with feeling bad, because I was talking about my YouTube sisters. I have a couple young ladies that I consider my YouTube sisters. I've mentioned them to you before, Lainey and Marilyn, otherwise known as Lainey K and Weirdette, who are 15 and 16 years old. And I love them like they're my blood. I love them like they're my actual sisters. I feel protective over them. I would have their backs in a heartbeat. I mean, if in person, certainly if I knew them in person, but obviously online, I will always, you know, feel protective of them and want to watch out for them. And they tell me that I give good advice and that I'm such a good support system for them. And even with other people that are not necessarily that much younger than me, and even with people that are older than me, like I don't like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Discriminate with friends. I have friends, you know, I feel like I have a friend named Kimberly, who I know from my Monster Mania convention that I attend in Cherry Hill, New Jersey a couple times a year, who has a young daughter named Zaya. I believe Zaya is 6. I consider Zaya my friend the same way I consider Kimberly my friends. Like, I can just sit and have, like, the most intense conversations with this 6-year-old because I don't treat kids like kids. I mean, I do. Obviously, I speak with discretion and I don't use foul language, etc., etc. But I mean, I don't go like, oh, she's just a kid. What does she know? This little girl is brighter than half the adults I know. So I don't discriminate in ages in terms of who my friends are. I have a dear friend that I work with at my volunteer shift at the animal rescue who is in her 80s. And I absolutely adore her. She's just a dear, dear, wonderful friend to me. So I love, you know, the people that I love are of all ages and all backgrounds. And I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm not mothering per se, but being a big sister or a little sister, as the case may be, maybe that's my role in life as a caregiver. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's just as important. Maybe that is my destiny in life. To care for animals, to care for children, to care for people older than myself. Excuse me, gosh, I'm burping. I just wolfed down half a candy bar with my husband, a big, huge candy bar that my friend Stephanie gave me for Christmas. I can't believe it took me this long to eat it, but anyway, so I'm a little burpy. But, I don't know, like things like that make me question my role in life and what really matters. And making money matters, obviously. I mean, my life with my husband would be infinitely easier if we both were able to work jobs, and I feel guilt every second of every day that I'm not able to do that. But I don't feel like working for pay is the only way someone can contribute to society or contribute to the world around them. I feel that by having this channel, and I don't mean to sound egotistical because it's not like I'm, you know, creating a cure for cancer or, you know, devising world peace. But I feel like just by sharing the things that I do on this channel, whether they're silly lip balm reviews or toy unboxings or eating weird foods or having conversations with you like this, I feel like I'm impacting other people's lives in some small way. Like, Persevering Star is my little corner of the world where I can be impactful and make a difference. Just like when I go to the animal rescue, spending the time with the animals and caring for them and feeding them and cleaning their litter boxes and, you know, cleaning their enclosures, doing all the things that show them that I love them and that I care for them, and being with the people that I volunteer with that have become like a second family to me. That's meaningful, and I don't get a penny for doing that. And I've been doing it now for over 2 years, and it's one of the greatest joys of my life. And I'm thinking to myself now, it's a little difficult for my husband and I because we only have one car, and my husband's job requires him to have the car generally Fridays through Mondays. So it's, you know, it limits, obviously, the days of availability for me to do things. I have therapy on Thursday mornings, and that I'm not going to reschedule because that's a priority in my life. I have the shelter on Wednesdays from 11 to 2, so it really, you know, only gives me Tuesdays as a completely open day. But you know, if things change and at some point we're able to get a second car, which I don't see happening anytime soon, or I'm able to be brave enough to figure out public transportation and get somewhere via train or via bus or something, I could potentially volunteer somewhere else or an additional day at the shelter. I was just thinking to my husband about how much I love children, and there is actually a hospital that's pretty much, my house is 3 blocks from the train station, and there, literally, if I went one stop, I would be getting off almost right on top of a hospital. So I said to my husband, you know, maybe that's something to look into. Maybe they have some sort of a program at the hospital where I could come in and volunteer a couple hours a day, you know, once a week, reading to the children that are, you know, that are in the cancer ward, say, or just playing games with them, doing puzzles with them, coloring with them, just talking with them, spending time with them. Like, that would be so fulfilling for me. And I think that children would really benefit from having someone there that they can talk to openly that's not necessarily a family member or a family friend. That's almost, I don't want to say like a therapist. I'm not giving myself that sort of a title, but just someone that they can openly vent to and say, you know, gosh, my chemo was really crappy this week, you know, or I wish I could go home and play with my friends. And sometimes, you know, I'm sure kids, just like adults, they put on brave faces and they don't tell mom and dad how much they're suffering, or maybe even their doctors, that they could have someone that's an older friend and a mentor that they can say, you know, Carrie, I don't know. I'm just really glad you came to color with me today or read a book with me today, because I'm just not having a great week, you know? I'm kind of sad. And that I could say to them, you know, I'm here for you, and I understand, you know, that it's so hard to go through what you're going through. I mean, I can't even imagine. You're so much tougher and braver than I am, and I admire your strength and your courage. And I think even children as young as 5 and 6 can understand that. I really do. I don't know. I'm just starting to recognize that there are different ways to be caregivers. And there are different ways to give and receive love and compassion and understanding, and to be accessible to other human beings. And I'm scared out of my mind to be on the phone. There are like a handful of people that I'll talk on the phone with. And even that, like, generally, like, the person has to be in crisis for me to pick up the phone and call them, and I have to know that they're struggling, or there has to be something like super, super serious going on. And I don't know why that is. It hasn't always been the case. Like when I was a teenager, I loved to talk on the phone like most teenage girls. But I don't know, ever since like my 20s, it just gives me such stress and anxiety. And it's not just things like calling to make appointments and stuff, which, oh my God, it makes me literally want to vomit just thinking about it. That's how much the anxiety gets to me. But just calling to talk to a friend, that should be so simple. And it's not. It's really, really not. That's why the advent of Facebook and texting and emailing and all this stuff has been such a godsend for me. I've always found it easier to write stuff down than to just say it. I've had friends, I have a friend named Alba who's wanted me to Skype with her for like 5 years, and I've never once had the courage to do it yet. And she's on the other side of the world. And I know that we would have a great conversation and probably have a really good time. And if I could get over the initial hump of doing it once, I would probably be okay. But I still haven't done it yet. And not for lack of love for her or care for her. I'm just really afraid, and I don't know why. It's like exposing myself in a different way. And that's why I'm still in shock and awe that I'm able to do YouTube. I guess it's because I don't get immediate feedback from you guys. I mean, I get it pretty quickly. Like, the minute this video gets posted and people watch it, like, sometimes I'll get comments within the first minute of the video, like, and they'll say, you know, I just started watching, but I had to comment on this one thing that just stood out in my mind. And I'm the same way with other people's videos. So it is still, like, two-way communication, but the fact that I can just get my thoughts out completely without any interaction, I guess maybe makes me more courageous and brave in that regard, and more able to express myself on here than any place else, like on the phone or even in person sometimes. I have a handful of friends like that I see in person. I mean, I've shared this before, like legitimately I could pretty much count on one hand the number of friends that I could call up and say, hey, let's get together and do something. And I could pretty much count on 0 fingers how many I actually do call up and say, hey, let's do something. Because, again, the fear and the anxiety and stupid, irrational fear. Because I know these people love me. And, you know, if things don't work out, it's not because they hate me or they're avoiding me. Even though I feel that way at the time, if I ever do reach out and it doesn't work out for one reason or another, I always feel like, oh, it's because I suck and they hate me. And I mean, duh, you know, I hate me, so why wouldn't anybody else hate me? But that's the thing. I'm learning to not hate me, at least not all the time. Like, I can appreciate that there are some good qualities in me. One being my compassion and my ability to empathize with other human beings and animals as well. And I think working at the shelters helped bring that out a lot in a strange way. But I am the first person to say, how can I help if someone's going through something? And you know, I'm not talking about financially, because I really don't have a pot to piss in to do that. I'm talking about in terms of emotional support, someone to be a listening ear, someone to offer advice. Even if I haven't got a clue what the heck I'm talking about, I will try to give the best advice that I possibly can based on my own experiences and just my own intuition and my own instincts. And that's a really good quality to have. And it's okay to say, hey, Carrie, You deserve a pat on the back. You are a very compassionate, caring person. And those are really good things about you. And if you have even those two good things, you can't be total garbage, you know? And it's enlightening to me, because for so long I thought I was total garbage. I hid off camera for the first 4 months I had this channel because I was in such dread fear of people telling me how ugly I was, or how fat I was, or, oh my gosh, you're so gross. Like, why would you subject people to look at your ugliness on YouTube? And I've had a handful of people post nasty things like that, but you know what? You delete, you block, and roll. Trolls are gonna troll. That's what they do. It's not personal. That's what my husband keeps reminding me all the time. It's not personal. When people thumbs down your videos, Carrie, it's not personal. There are people that literally just click through videos and thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down, every damn one they see without even watching them, because it gives them some sense of power or superiority. And I feel sorry for those people. And I'm glad I'm not them. So I really... You know, I just kind of have to say, well, thanks. You know, you showed interaction with my channel. That's still pretty cool, because negative interaction is still interaction. As far as YouTube concerned, that's still cool, you know. It means somebody paid enough attention to watch your video, even for the 2 seconds it took to click a thumbs down. So, you know, I try not to sweat that anymore. And it happens with every video, pretty much. And as my subscribers are growing in number, it's happening more and more, and I guess I should take that as a badge of honor in a way, because it means that people are noticing my channel, and yay for that, you know. I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't hurt a little bit, but I block and roll, and I get over it quickly enough if it's a matter of a negative comment. And if it's a thumbs down, oh well, you know. If that's the worst thing that's going to happen to me in my day, trust me, I've dealt with a lot worse. I put myself through a lot worse on a daily basis than that. You're not going to break me with a thumbs down. So, I don't know. Just thinking a lot of different things, all triggered by this conversation with my sweet friend who, you know, I offered the best help to that I could, and I really hope it makes a difference, because I care about her a lot. And it's a friend that I don't really talk to even all that often. So the fact that she knew that she could reach out to me because she knows I suffer from the same disease, that my brain works in very much the same way, I was so flattered and touched that she thought to reach out to me. And that felt really good, because I thought, you know, these things that I think about myself, that I'm compassionate, and that I'm patient, and that I'm understanding and empathetic, those are really legitimate, true things. Like, here's proof. Here's empirical proof. The girl who's such a skeptic, and I tell my friend Jane all the time, I'm like your skeptical friend. I just don't believe in anything unless I have 10 forms of documentation to prove that it's true. I'm becoming a believer in things that I can't necessarily see or understand, and I like that. I don't know. I'm learning to appreciate that. I don't have all the answers. I don't have remotely 1/100th of the answers, and that's okay. We're all on the same journey in life. We're born, we live, and we die. You know, but nobody gets out of this alive. Eventually, we're all going to meet the same fate. It just, you know, it's just a matter of how and when. How we live our lives in between is what matters. And no, I don't have a job, and I'm not earning money, and that sucks. But it doesn't mean that I suck. Because if I didn't have the brain disease that I have, my situation would probably be different. But I contribute to the world in other ways that are equally valuable. I love the animals I work with. I love the people I work with. I love doing this channel more than I ever imagined I possibly could, because I've exposed so much more of myself than I ever thought I would. Again, 4 months of not even being on camera. And now we're coming up on 2 years in April. I believe it's April 2nd. I keep quoting that date. I have to verify it somehow. I have to see if I can get the date from the first video I posted and clarify once and for all that that's my anniversary date. I know what date I signed up for YouTube, but that was way years before I started posting. I just was a watcher of other videos. But yeah, but that means for like almost 1.5 years, I've been on camera, and holy crap, for someone with like this much self-esteem and self-worth, and who still looks in the mirror half the time and goes, ugh, and just looks away because I just don't even want to see what's in front of my eyes, that's huge. And I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of that. And I'm really proud of this channel. It may not be the most professionally shot. It may not be edited. It may just be slice of life, thrown together stuff, a mishmash of 9 million subjects and going off on tangents and rambling too long. And some people like videos short and some people like videos long. And I'm not for everybody. And I'm certainly probably not for everybody all the time, because there's so many different aspects of me that I share on this channel with you guys that I doubt there are many of you who watch every video I post. And I'm totally cool with that, because, you know, everybody's different. Everybody's got different interests. And, you know, I've had people say, when you talk about your depression and anxiety and the struggles you go through and your emotional state, I'm interested in that. I couldn't, you know, give a crap about lip balm or toys. So I don't watch those videos. I'm like, okay, right on. Thank you for being honest with me. I appreciate that. Does that mean I'm going to stop shooting videos about lip balm and toys? Absolutely not. Because there are other people that probably don't watch videos like this and click this off the minute they saw, you know, I started talking, or the minute they saw the title, they skipped right by. And that's okay too. I don't expect anyone who subscribes to this channel to be with me on every single video. If you are, I mean, more power to you. Rock on, sisters and brothers. I love you beyond words. But even if you're not with me on everything, even if you're with me on just a few things, or one thing, or you even just click subscribe just because you want to help me reach my goal of 1,000, I appreciate you nonetheless. And I'm really, really, really grateful to you. Because you, in some small way, although it's not even a small way, it's still a big way, are part of my life's journey. And it's a journey that many times I was willing to just end and give up on and say, that's it, I'm done. I can't cope with this brain anymore. I can't cope with being so messed up in my mind anymore. I just don't even want to be on the planet. I just want to be done. I just want to go to sleep and not wake up. I don't feel that way anymore, at least not in a really long time. And that's huge. That is in fact everything. And I want you guys to know that if you are struggling, if you are in that place where you're feeling like, nobody'd miss me if I wasn't here. I don't contribute anything. I don't have a job. I don't, you know, I don't save the world. I'm not a mom. I'm not a, you know, I don't have any pets. I'm not married. I'm not dating anyone. I just live alone. And, you know, my best friend's the Domino Pizza delivery guy. I don't care. You're still important and you still matter to me and you're still valuable. And you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. You never know that one day the person that delivers your Dominoes isn't going to be the cutest guy or the prettiest girl that you've ever seen in your life, and you're not going to have your eyes lock and suddenly have it be love at first sight. You just never know what's around the corner. And if you quit the fight, if you give up on the show, you're going to miss amazing, beautiful things. Yes, you'll miss pain and suffering. You'll avoid those things. Maybe. I mean, do any of us really know what happens after we die? No. So who knows? This literally could be all there is. I don't know. I mean, I'm a person of enough faith that I think there's something that comes after this, but honestly, what do I know about it? What do any of us know about it? We don't know. We just go on faith or lack of faith. But if this is the only shot we get at life, I want mine to be worth something. And if my value, other than being loved by my husband and my mother and my pets and my friends, and those are huge, important things and give me great satisfaction. But if my only contribution to the world other than that is this YouTube channel, or stacks of poetry that I've written, or diary entries, or whatever's left behind when my body is gone, I'm okay with that. Because I feel like this matters a lot. And I think that even if there's only just one other person in the world that agrees with me in that statement, that that's worth it. That's something huge. That's me making a difference. That's me leaving a legacy behind. And it doesn't have to be grandiose and dramatic. But in my little world, I impact people, and I make a difference, and I matter. And so do you, you guys, so do you. You may not always think it, but I swear you do. I'm going to stop because I could just go on and ramble all night, and we're already almost at 30 minutes. Thank you. Bless your little hearts if you stuck with me through this whole thing. I know it went on all different rambly tangents, but, you know, that's Carrie for you. That's how I roll. But I guess the moral of the story is important. The story is going to have ups and it's going to have downs, and it's going to have sorrow and loss and pain and anger and hurt. But it's also going to have humor and light and joy and puppy dog kisses and friends and nieces and nephews and cousins and moms and dads and cats, you know, giving you their love. And that's worth sticking around for. I hope this was meaningful to at least one of you guys. I hope that this impacts you. If you like what I had to say, I really would appreciate a subscribe if you haven't already. And if you don't want to, obviously, that's okay too, because I'm not for everyone. But having your support, you guys, having you lift me up, and you have lifted me up, especially since all of this nonsense with this 1,000 subscriber garbage has been going on, and I've been driving myself crazy, tying myself up in knots. You have shown me such kindness and sensitivity and support and love and compassion and understanding and empathy and all those beautiful things that make life worth living. And I'm so, so eternally grateful to you for that. And I hope it just keeps on going, because I'm not going anywhere, you guys. I'm not going anywhere. And I hope you'll stick around for the ride with me, because it's going to be a fun one. It's going to have laughter and tears and everything in between. And I'd really, really, really like you to share on it with me. So thank you. I love you. And I will be back soon with more stuff. Bye.